All right. Well, good morning, guys. I don't know why this thing sometimes it just has a mind of its own. So I'm sorry about sometimes there's edits here and all kinds of different things, but hopefully you guys can hear me. I think you guys can. Let me know in the comments if you guys cannot hear me. But yeah, so good morning. Happy Friday. This is Coffee with Chris. If you're not familiar with Coffee with Chris, I do this show every Friday morning. We talk about coffee. We talk about everything in the news that has to relate to coffee normally, and then we also talk about hot shots or something in that nature about events and what's going on in the event industry. So, I wanted to just kind of follow up, and I do apologize for my tardiness. I try to. Believe it or not, it takes a lot to put this together in a short time. I mean, I really need to probably start this like at 6 a.m. just because there's always something that happens or always something that makes a change. And then, of course, like I say, I always have visitors that like to join me Friday morning here. I can kind of see right out my front window. And so that always makes it a lot of fun, too. So, regardless of all that, you guys are here. Hopefully, you're joining me, and hopefully, you guys are having a great Friday. What are we going to talk about today? Let me first say, if you are not a subscriber of anything of mine yet, then let me just add this here. In this lower corner here, you can see that we are at Hot Shots Catering. We also updated our page. So if you follow me on Facebook, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, one of the first things I'm going to tell you is I'm getting away from my Facebook profile. You probably, if you looked at it recently, you will not see anything on there. And that's for good reason. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the best content possible. And the Facebook profile and the way that a profile works now compared to how a page works, it's a lot easier for me to share content and do things on a page and get away from a lot of stuff that goes on our profiles these days. So that being said, let's talk about the coffee of today. Okay, so people down here don't know what I'm doing, but this is actually a terrible towel. Okay, if you know what a terrible towel is, tell me in the comments. Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna look right now, see if anyone out there knows what I'm talking about right now. But the terrible towel is from the Steelers, the sports team. And where are the Steelers located? Well, the Steelers are located in Pittsburgh. And I'm trying to see if anyone knows what I'm talking about here. So the Steelers are located in Pittsburgh. All right. And I'm going to tell you just a short story, really, is I really, that's where I'm from, first of all. Let's just point that out. I was born in Pittsburgh. If you've seen my bio that I have out there on the internet, I was born in Pittsburgh. I was actually born in Shadyside, Pittsburgh. And I grew up in Pittsburgh for about 10 years of my life and then moved to Texas. So I'm really more of a native Texan, if you want to consider it that. But Pittsburgh has a place in my heart. Most of my family's in Pittsburgh. And it's just Pennsylvania in general. It's a great state, and Pittsburgh is a great city. And to me, it's totally night and day than Texas and Dallas and this area. It has a lot of culture, which I feel like I always miss here in Texas. Even when I went up to New York a couple of years ago, I mean, I felt like the culture up there was actual culture, let's say. And, really when I say that, I mean more of culture and foods and things of that nature, which is something that I absolutely love. And the culture of people. There is a culture of people down here too. But, it really comes down to, it's just a different atmosphere, a different speed in which the world revolves around the world in both places. So that being said, I got a coffee that I saw actually from Pittsburgh Dad. I don't know if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but anyone that's my family members know what I'm talking about. So there's a guy on YouTube. He's called Pittsburgh Dad. I watch him every now and then. And one of the things I saw was up there. There's a beer called Iron City. Okay. And it's like a Pabst Blue Ribbon, if that makes sense, or a Natty Light, that type of style of beer. At least that's how it's been perceived to me. And so there's actually a restaurant, and I'm actually going to show you just kind of what they serve. It's called Permane Brothers, and at Permane Brothers, you get this type of sandwich. It's like sauerkraut, French fries, and roast beef type sandwich, I guess. And it's very it's very interesting if you could see this. So one of my first experiences at well, when I started traveling back, I guess is what I was going to tell you, is, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, but really in the early 2000s, I started traveling back with my family, and we were doing Thanksgiving at my grandmother's house and just visiting family pretty much on a yearly basis. And one of the first times I went back, I didn't know much about Permane Brothers. I didn't know anything. I couldn't have a beer when I was 10. So, we went back there and really kind of got me acclimated to Pittsburgh. And so if you ever go to Pittsburgh, or you ever go to up on the west side of Pennsylvania, go to Permane Brothers is kind of like a staple there. And they have this sandwich. It looks interesting. It actually tastes really, really good. But I had a Permane Brothers sandwich with my cousin, my dad, and we went into Permane's, and I had a sandwich, and I had my first Iron City beer when I was like after 21, and I went up there. And so that's kind of just one of those things. It's an interesting story, but at any rate, so if you ever go up there, definitely check out their sandwiches. It looks like they have all kinds of. That's what the store looks like, and there's actually several. It's more like a franchise or what have you now. And it's said that people go to Permane Brothers. There was a brothers or someone, I can't remember, who actually traveled. They actually traveled, I think, all the way from like Washington or somewhere out there, all the way to Pennsylvania just to have this sandwich. So it's kind of interesting. I think they were pilots or something. But anyways, so why I'm talking to you about that is the coffee. As you know, if you watch this show, we always start off talking about some kind of coffee or something coffee related, and do like a short little review. And normally these reviews fall into YouTube. I do a review later, but I just got this coffee in, and it's called Iron City Bean. So they're working with one of the roasters up there. I guess it's Press House is the roasters. And, Liz got this coffee off the front porch, and she literally said that she could smell it out there. So it is very strong. It's a very dark bean coffee, more like an Italian roast, I think. But you can take a look. I don't know if you guys can see that in there. It's pretty dark. And I always get, like I say, and I tell you guys to do the same thing. If you are getting coffee, you need to make sure, one, you get a good grinder. Now, I didn't have my grinder here, so that's a problem. So I actually use the Ninja blender. So the quality and consistency is not going to be probably the best with this morning for me to do this review or a little taste test. But I will say it's better than nothing. And if you're in a bind, a blender works great. You normally just have to grind it for a long time to get it really fine, enough to make something out of it. But going back to this, if you're going to buy coffee, buy it whole bean. It's going to be a lot fresher when you first grind it, and it will be something that you'll enjoy. But yeah, so Iron City Bean. Let's see if I can put this back here. Maybe you guys can see this. Okay. So it's all about Pittsburgh today. So let's try this. Now, I got my nice little, I got to do a shout out to St. Mark's. They are a private school here that we do a lot of work for. And unfortunately, we're not doing anything with them this year for the fall. They've canceled all their events due to the whole pandemic thing. But you know, they are some of the nicest customers I have, because they always give us a shout out, and they always help us and help us let others know about our services. And we've been working for them for years. So shout out to St. Mark's if they're watching. Um, and this is just a really cool coffee cup, by the way. I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually cut out with their logo on it. So anyway, so let's try this coffee. Woo. So it tastes a lot more like the dark. If you see my review on the dark coffees, the most caffeinated coffees, it has that same taste, if you will. Now let me look in here. I don't know if, let's see these beans up close and personal. They're kind of oily. They're probably along the same lines of those beans as far as color goes. You know, if you go check out that review, the most caffeinated coffee in the world. I tried them all, and I did a video on them. So go look at my YouTube channel, and you'll find all those videos there at Hot Shots Catering. But those beans are very similar to this, and that's kind of the same taste I get. It's a very dark coffee. It's actually very good. It's very palatable drinking this just in a couple sips. It's not too dark and too oily or anything like that. It's actually very smooth. And it's not, to me, it's not acidic at all. So I actually really like this. It's different. It has a different profile. It's definitely along those same lines. The smoky, the leathery, I guess, flavor profiles that we talk about. But it's very good. There's no harsh bite. There's no overly acidic taste to it. I think it's pretty good, and it's not too overly smoky. It's not too overly leathery. Those type of flavors that you normally get with that really dark Italian roast style type coffee. It's actually more pleasant, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, most people would probably joke it probably tastes like an Iron City. You know, I mean, it's definitely that rough around the edges style coffee. If you like that, I'm starting to really like those coffees. I gotta admit, I don't like anything dark typically. Like, I don't like real dark coffee. I don't like dark cigars or anything like that. I don't like, typically, I guess I would say I don't like dark wines, but I actually do. I don't like dark chocolate. Let's put it that way. So normally those things I don't really get into. But, you know, since I did that review and tried the really caffeinated coffees and all that, I actually found that I really, really love those style of coffees. And that could be something, I probably should do more videos on that and see if you guys like to try those, because I think the great thing about anything food or anything is, you know, you got to go out there and try different things. I even like really hot sauces now. If you've seen one of our first shows, we did the hot coffee challenge, and I tell you what, we were doing all these different hot sauces, and I really, really, really ended up liking really stuff that would burn your tongue off. I actually had appreciation for that now. So anyways, this is very good. Like I said, Iron City bean. This is actually new for them. So this is a new coffee. They didn't. I bought this through the mail. It was like $20, and I definitely say if you are a, what do you call it, Pittsburghianite, whatever, you know, if you're someone from Pittsburgh, you probably really appreciate this. It's definitely better than I would say the beer. They probably have something going here with coffee if they want to make a change someday. But it's overall really good, and I just tell you guys, go out and try it. It's something new that they're offering, and it wasn't that expensive, and it took less than a week to get here. So, and I'm in Texas, so. Where are we now? Let's start with a little bit of news. The main news thing I'm going to tell you about today is, if you guys haven't heard, and I know my fiance's been telling me ever since she's pretty much woken up, um, that Starbucks is now doing their pumpkin spice. Let's give them a round of applause. Everybody's doing pumpkin spice again, right? This is actually my thought on pumpkin spice that you guys might want to see.
Who's ready for some pumpkin spice? Nah.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts. Sometimes with pumpkin spice coming out and what people talk about with pumpkin spice, I just think I don't know. To me, it comes out earlier and earlier and earlier every year, talking about pumpkin spice and talking about these things and trying the different coffees and all that, and the pumpkin spice flavor comes out obviously in the pumpkin spice cookies, the pumpkin spice, you name it, it's something's pumpkin spice now. Cereal. I like pumpkin spice, and maybe we'll do a video. We'll talk about our pumpkin spice and what we do and everything. But it's really good. You can make good pumpkin spice, but at the same time, I don't know what the huge trend about pumpkin spice is. I know a lot of people don't like pumpkin spice that I talk to, but there are people that absolutely, they have to have everything pumpkin spice, and my fiance is probably one of them. So pumpkin spice is definitely something here to stay. Hot Shots, the reason why I posted that video here at Hot Shots, our pumpkin spice actually doesn't get started till October 1st. So our whole holiday menu doesn't get started till October 1st. So that's something to think about, especially if you're thinking about us for the holidays that's coming up. You want the peppermint mochas that you love. That is probably one of the most popular drinks that we have. And part of my other story I'm going to tell you guys about here shortly is how I have people that wait all year round for us to bring them the peppermint mocha. And it's fascinating because people who really appreciate good quality and good cups of coffee, they appreciate it and they'll wait for it. They'll wait for that experience again. And so that's actually segues me quite nicely into what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is quality. And let's just start off talking about the quality of Hot Shots and how I kind of started out focusing on quality. And I'll tell you a couple short little stories here or what have you. So when I started this business in 2007, one of the first things that I actually focused on and really, really wanted to focus on is, we want to be different. We want to be something that is memorable. Now, we're, of course, different just from the standpoint in 2007, no one even heard of a mobile coffee bar, coffee cart, or, there's been coffee carts and things like that have been around forever, but not someone who would come out and do the full gourmet coffee experience on site and just serve several people. And, on top of that, doing the amount of numbers and things that we do is another thing that just makes it, more interesting. So as far as quality goes, where we have started was, I actually went to all the local fast food chains with coffee and all that. So I started obviously with Starbucks was one of them. I bought their French vanillas or their vanillas. I bought their mochas. I bought their hot chocolates. I went to Dunkin', bought all their fancy coffees, went to other coffee shops, and I literally one day did all of that, brought it home and set it on the counter in our kitchen at my parents' house. And I had my parents come in, and then we had our espresso machines. We had everything that we had, our syrups, and we just started making drinks and just comparing them to what I brought back. And we did that for probably a couple weeks, just really narrowing down, the flavor profiles. What are the flavor profiles that people might like, and what are flavor profiles that people don't like? And one of the main things with Starbucks, and one of the biggest things I've always heard was, hey, Starbucks is great, and a lot of other coffee shops too, is they put the syrups in the cup. And for one thing, I'll share with you a little secret. one of the things is that they do not stir the drinks, which is now it's like a fad. A lot of people, and a lot of you guys are probably included in this, which is nothing wrong. It's just one of the things that irks me is that you get like an iced latte and they just dump milk in it and they don't mix it. They don't do anything. They give it to you, and it's because all their advertisements and everything have that iced latte that is not mixed, and that's appealing. But that's like let's make you a Coca-Cola. I'm Pepsi or Coca-Cola, whoever, and I'm going to make you a soda, but I'm not going to stir up all the ingredients. I'm just going to throw it all together in a cup or a can and then just give it to you and not put it under, carbonation or anything. It'd be kind of the same thing. So, it's just one of those things that drives me nuts. But now I lost my train of thought. Going into that, I guess, is just talking about what these other companies do. And so one of the things is they didn't ever obviously mix their drinks, but the other thing is that the syrup that was on the bottom of that cup would stay in the bottom because of that reason. So when you get a mocha and you do this, the reason why they put so much syrup in it, at least one of my initial thoughts is they're trying to get you to taste the syrup. So they put more syrup in it and they want you to taste that syrup. And what happens? You guys can probably answer this for me, but what ends up happening is when you're sipping that coffee, right? You're drinking your coffee. All the syrup's down here. So you get this big venti cup of whatever, and you start drinking it, and you end up finding that at the very end, you can't even finish it because it's all syrup. And so that's a problem. And so we've created solutions to fix that, and that's partly why we have some of the best lattes you can actually probably get made for you anywhere. And that's why every time we do an event, people are saying, Chris, why aren't you guys have a coffee shop? Where's your coffee shop located? Because I want to go. If you had a coffee shop, I'd be there every day. And that's partly a secret for us of why we do things like that is creating a quality experience that, even something as simple as where the syrup goes, how long the syrup's in the latte, do you mix it, stir it, whatever, can make a big impact on a latte. And, if you follow me, a lot of things I say don't make a big impact. Water and all these type of things, there's variables and things in there. But the fact that so many people and so many coffee shops and so many places get it wrong adds value to us. And so while I'm talking to you, I'm going to just show you guys some of these pictures I have, obviously of hot shots, and I'll just put this on a loop. But going back to quality, I'll tell you a little story here. So I had one client that we've been working with, and unfortunately, I just found out recently that he actually is leaving the organization that he was in, and which is fine. He's going to do something, make more money, so power to him and all of that. But it was funny because I have some clients that I work with every year, and normally it's around the holidays and things like that. Sometimes it's summer months. But normally around the holidays, I have a particular group of clients that we work for year after year after year, which is great. We have a great relationship. And one of my clients... and it wasn't even him that did this, but it was I guess I should say that one of my clients, when I say this, it's typically not for their people, if you will. It's more like a third party thing. So, someone hires us and then we're doing an event for them on behalf of their company, or doing kind of normally it's like morning meetings, things of that nature. And people want to do that obviously in the winter months to kind of say thank you. It's a giving season, and so they want to do that. So one of the clients that this gentleman had was out in Fort Worth, and we do their events every single year. And like I said, it's around the holidays, so we do our peppermint mocha. And this is definitely one of my clients that, they say, hey, we will come back till forever for the peppermint mocha lattes that you guys serve. And so they told me this story with my client actually standing there saying, hey, we had someone come out here, and we really thought it was you guys. We really thought it was Hot Shots coming out here to serve coffee. And so typically how this works is obviously when someone hires us to come out on behalf of someone else, it's normally under their name, so they don't even know who's going to show up. Typically, how they hear about it is, "Hey, the coffee guy's in the break room," right? And or wherever we are. But that's typically what they hear. So they just assume it was Hot Shots. Well, sadly, they went down to this break spot that they have at their offices. And the lady that was telling me the story literally said that she was in shock of what they had to offer. She first visually knew it wasn't us because, as you can see in these pictures, we have a very distinct visual aspect of what we do. But they didn't know who this person was, but they said it was probably the worst coffee they have ever had, and definitely by far the worst peppermint mocha. I don't even know if they did a peppermint mocha. I think they just did a mocha or something. But they were just explaining to me in front of the client and letting the client know, hey, we are so grateful for Hot Shots to come out here and do these coffees. And that's something that stuck with me. I sometimes, I'm not a person that loves to brag or even talk too much about what we do. But one of the things is when it comes down to quality, I can promise you and tell you that as far as our coffee goes, we built this business around quality, and I think that's important, and that's something that you need to know if you're someone who's planning on hiring us, or even if you're already a customer. Quality to me is very, very important. And so that's one of my stories, is that, we've had people, and they're not the only ones, but we've had people that literally have had other experiences. And what they brought out was actually something else here that I'm going to show you is, a percolator. And this is just some pictures of a coffee bar that I was going to talk about. But here, see these things here? These are actually percolators. And so if most people are probably familiar with this, but percolators you fill with coffee, and they're great if you have one. And a lot of people, they don't do the math on this stuff and they don't think about it, but they go out and they start doing this business and they buy some of these machines and they look at them and they say, hey, they're a 50-cup brewer. Well, if you read the fine print, 50 cups is 6 ounces or less. So it's really not that much coffee. But then on top of that, the power that they pull is almost ridiculous. So it's great for small events. It's great for things like that. But I think that's what these guys brought out. They said they had an espresso bar. They brought out some percolators and they threw some syrups there. And these people said it's the worst experience they've had. And so they were grateful for us to come back. So that being said, and why I wanted to show you this is going back to quality again, is really just talking about, I wish these visuals were a little bit better than what they are, so I do apologize. But you get the idea. You can see here that, and actually I talked to a young woman yesterday, and maybe she's watching, but, we have some clients and people that call us, and, what we offer just doesn't fit with their budget and everything else. So I actually recommended this to someone yesterday, a young lady who was getting married. And I really said to her, I said, listen, if coffee isn't the big experience for you, then just get a couple Keurigs and get something simple and, have fun with it, do something different. So me showing you this stuff isn't knocking people that do this, but it really comes down to the quality and the experience that you want to have. They just wanted some coffee to throw in some cups. And so I said, Keurig is the best way to do that, unless you have a caterer or someone else. I always pitch my caterers to them. But, a good caterer can do some coffee for you and make something fantastic. But she wanted something simple. So this is a great solution for that. This is a Keurig coffee bar. trying to show you guys. Here's another one. This is actually really nice. I thought this was really cool looking. It's not in really high quality, but you can at least see the detail of what this is the cups and the milks and the big Keurig machine and stuff. But this setup here is not going to serve 100 plus people. This might not even serve 30 people. I mean, in the format that you want to serve them. This to me is not a coffee bar that is a first thought. Let's put it that way. And that's just being nice about it. But at the same time, it comes down to what is the quality that you want for your event. And unfortunately, it's like anything, even myself, I go out and there's some things that I don't put a lot of quality or value in. And that's okay. But if you really want quality and you really want something that people are going to walk away remembering, they're not going to walk away remembering the Keurig. I promise you that. They're not going to walk away remembering the little Nespresso bar you put together. And that's not even knocking the machines. You could do something great if, as a vendor, if you wanted to serve coffees and stuff out of this stuff. The coffee is not terrible. But it goes more than that. It's more than just the quality of the flavor. It's also the quality of the setup, quality of being a professional out there doing something, having quality baristas serving the lattes and putting the coffees together. I wish more and more people knew what went into this, because this isn't something that you just wake up and you say, hey, I'm going to start a mobile coffee business, or hey, I'm going to start just doing some coffee. It doesn't work that way. It's no different than if I say, hey, I want to wake up and be a pilot. Hey, I want to wake up and be a broadcaster or run an organization. I mean, it's just not that simple. So like I said, percolators are something that a lot of people you'll see use and stuff. And I've seen caterers do this, and we're not, to me, it's not even anything that I even bat an eye at, because the folks that are charging for this, it's definitely not in the same realm or even budget of what we do. So competitive wise, this stuff doesn't even really affect us. And it meets a need, but you are not going to get the quality of a percolator coffee. And you see like a little percolator. I think this is a hot chocolate bar. But you don't get the same thing. But once again, how many cups are here? 15 cups, something like that. This is for a small wedding or a small event, and that's what you get. So, my bottom line is when you hire people, no matter what it is, focus on the quality of what you're getting and really pay attention to what you're getting. And, it really comes down to you. What do you value? But I really think people that struggle really getting good events, getting good vendors, I keep hearing this and I keep seeing this. A lot of event planners and wedding planners out there struggle with their vendors. And the funny thing to me is a lot of times it's not the vendor's fault so much. It probably is, but it's actually more of the planner going out and just constantly getting the bottom dollar person, or getting someone who they thought was professional without doing the research, and really asking the question, why are they professional? What makes this person a professional? And then you hire these people that sell you on some kind of loosey-goosey idea of why they're a professional. And you find out that there's holes in what they're talking about. They don't show up on time. They charge you additional fees. They want to keep your money when they haven't produced any product for you. So, it's a real shame. But, really, if you want to have a great event, you want to have a real experience, I only hire professionals, And if there's someone I find out that's not professional and I've hired them or thinking about them for an event or something that I'm personally doing, I normally cut ties with them, because I don't want them to screw up what I'm working hard to build, and you don't want the same thing. You're putting a lot of time, putting a lot of effort in an event. If you're not putting effort into an event and wanting people to walk away and say, wow, that was a fantastic experience, the quality of everything was absolutely phenomenal. If you don't want that, my question is why do an event at all? If you want to just have an event that's the same, then do an event and be the same, and hire folks that that bring a percolator, or hire folks that you want a gourmet sandwich, or you want a gourmet restaurant feel. They don't do it on a flat iron grill. You know what I mean? So you want to have an experience. You want to have your guests to have an experience. And the best way to do that is focus on quality, and focus on vendors that supply quality. So other than that, guys, I think that's it for today. I think we had a good talk today. We covered some things here, and I'm going to leave you guys with that. So remember, quality when you hire someone. Also, like, share this video. If you like what I'm talking about and you come here every Friday, share this video. Help me out. Share this video. Let other people come and enjoy what I have to say, and get a little bit of insight on some coffee news and coffee stuff. Also, I'll let you guys know, this month we have been, and it's almost over now, but we might follow it into next month, is we're offering free shipping at shophotshots.com. Shophotshots with an S.com. So go out there and check out what we have to offer for coffee and everything else there. We got a lot of coffee, but we also have a lot of products to make coffee that I think you'll be very pleased and interested with. So other than that, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me today. You guys have a great Friday, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining me.